what is going on with the job market right now? Like, I've been looking for a new job and there's just like nothing. And the jobs that I do apply for, I don't even know if these are real jobs or if the companies are just planning on hiring internally. And another thing, I just really want these companies to take down job listings when they've found a candidate and not just like leave them up. Because like, I'm gonna apply for a job, but like, if there's no job there, then like, just take the posting down.
We have all witnessed the layoffs of thousands of employees over the past couple of years at companies like Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, and Twitter. The consequences of COVID on organizations became evident when they recognized they had hired excessively during the pandemic. You might not be aware of this, but the majority of businesses have stopped recruiting women. It might be surprising to learn that more firms are refusing to hire women to fill their positions, and no corporation will admit this to you. Why? Because women bring a lot of drama to the table, and endless cases of ruining employee culture by falsely accusing male colleagues who no longer want to work with women.
Whew, job search update, okay? Because I am struggling, okay? And I'm doing all the methods. First method is where, you don't really read the job description. You don't get buried in the weeds of that. You just apply. Numbers game. I'm doing the opposite method where you read the job descriptions and you let your trauma and triggers take over. You see all the red flags, but don't worry, I'm still pushing forward and applying to those too. I'm doing the other method where you update your resume so you remove some of your experience so it looks like you don't have as much experience as you actually have. And I'm taking out my graduation date so they don't technically know what my age is, because I'm at that point. Apparently I didn't know I was. But what else? I'm going out for jobs that I might be a little overqualified for. I'm considering pay cuts because that's what they're giving out now. They want experienced people, but they're just a little bit of money. Okay, yeah, don't worry about the bills we have to pay and all. It has never been this hard, and I've been on the market before. Also, it's chaotic out there. I could go on, and don't worry, I will at another time. But good luck to everyone who is looking for a job, and please let me know how it's going for you.
One of my coworkers came at me today because apparently she just couldn't take it anymore. She was like, "Brandon, I have to say something. I noticed you don't use any African American women in your videos. What are you trying to pull? We all know that there are black single moms out there." I said, "Yes, there are plenty of black single moms out there, Vanessa. But front camera, crying, adding music, and you posting it? I don't think so."
If you're not actually hiring right now, don't put a fucking application up anywhere. I don't get why that's so hard. I applied for Build-A-Bear back in April. I come in, come back at the end of May. So I come back at the end of May. Oh, we're not hiring right now, come back at the end of August. So why do you currently have a job opening online that says that you're hiring? And why the f*** would I wait till August to come back? Why would I wait till August to come back to Build-A-Bear? I need money now.
This is the most humbled I've ever felt in my life. I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, "Are you guys hiring?" It's honestly a little bit embarrassing because I'm literally applying for minimum wage jobs, and some of them are being like, "We're not hiring," and it's like, what? This is not what I expected. I graduated college with 2 degrees in communications and acting. I speak 3 languages. Oh, this sucks. I just want to be a TikToker, if I'm being so for real with you. But I can't be delusional anymore. I literally need to make money, and so I'm just gonna keep trying. I'm over here crying. And then I heard the birds chirping. And then I thought, at least I'm crying in Brooklyn. God, I hope I'm doing better a year from now.
I feel like I'm always on here ranting about something sometimes, but I just feel like Not enough people talk about how like discouraging it is on your mental health, like to go through an interview process and make it to final rounds and then essentially be told you're not good enough, like they chose someone else. And like, you know, as a Christian, like you have to believe in God's greater plans, and I do. Like there's probably something better for me in store, but it's just this job market is so testing and so frustrating that I just sometimes feel like I don't know what I'm supposed to do, and I feel like the light at the end of the tunnel is never coming, or it's not gonna come for a while. But then in the same breath, like I'm just like, okay, well it could be worse. Like there's so many other terrible things going on in the world that it's like, okay, well I'm so grateful. But it's just like allowing yourself that time to grieve, like the possibility or the excitement of you having another job. Nonetheless, you know, the job market is like so terrible nowadays that like this role wasn't even paying that much. It was a nonprofit and they required a performance task and a panel interview and a hiring manager interview and a phone screening, and it's less than $100,000 a year. Like, why are these jobs making it so ridiculously hard? I feel like the job market is taking advantage of people's desperation and how many amazing candidates are in the job market, and they all know that they can have, like, you know, the creme de la creme, you know, the best talent out there, and people are gonna do whatever. And it just sucks because it's just a lot of time wasted, and it's just a lot of energy wasted just for these jobs to just choose other people. I just hate this economy. I just hate how America's government is set up. I just hate inflation. I just hate that millennials, it just feels like we get the crap end of the stick, and from a bunch of terrible decisions that were not even ours. Like, we were too young for a lot of things that were out of our control that's affecting us now, and it's just like we just have to suck it up and deal with it and expect to raise children and buy homes and have this American dream, and it's just not feasible. Like, anyway, I'm just over it, that's all.
Hi, my name is Maya Milisheva. I'd like to start with a short introduction about myself. I'm a woman in IT, obviously. I'm a CEO of a quite profitable IT company. I'm a mother as well, so you would say I went through quite a lot in the IT industry. So I have the experience and authority to talk about this topic. Now, what I want to say is that the whole talk about women in IT is usually a bad thing for us. Because basically what it says is, well, it's okay to have lower income, it's okay to do worse than boys in the IT industry because, well, there's a world conspiracy against you, you know, people hate you, that's why. So that's why I'm against the whole talk. Also, I did some recruiting because I have a company. And also I went to a school that had like 8 girls and 100 boys. So, you know, I'm quite used to being around a lot of boys. The whole thing is, girls are usually quite lazy. They're just not that good programmers. Sorry, but that's true, honestly. They just don't want to get their hands dirty to do the job. And when I tried to do some recruiting, I intentionally wanted to recruit women. And at the end, I failed to do so. Do you want to know why? Because most of those girls were usually just cheating, and they were just not good programmers. At the end, I had to recruit boys. And that's why I think the whole talk about let's recruit more women is bad, because at the end, you're recruiting worse programmers. At the end, your company is going to suffer. You're gonna lose some money. I know it's trendy to talk about women in IT, but I think women should just start studying more and getting the job done. And I honestly don't see girls staying up until late at their office and working that often. No, it's usually boys staying there. Why? I don't know. So that's what I want to say. I think the whole lecture should be removed, and I think it's just bullshit.
We had a couple of weeks ago, we had this conversation. We had members of Congress on and said, why not go through the ethics process with Al Franken? And the answer was the process is flawed and it favors members of Congress. And that very well may be true, but it's the process you've got. So you don't throw out due process.
I think
altogether.
the process
Make
itself
the process
is what we need to be talking about before we talk about the men, because the process needs to be, it's going to be complicated. But I think women feel that they are maligned and mistreated through the process, and therefore they're afraid to step forward. So we need to look at the process. But right now, any woman can say anything, and a man's career is ruined. Now, a lot of women can say things that are true, and their career should be ruined.
By the way,
but the problem is
by the way, hold on.
that any woman can say anything, and that's it, it's over. Is that how we're running businesses now?
There is a reporter whose name I will not mention, a very good reporter who was called in, was not told what he was accused of by an anonymous person, and he was immediately dismissed. So not only do you not get to face your accuser, in this case, you don't even get to know what the charges are against you. So when you hire a lawyer, you can't defend yourself. And again, if this is where this movement takes us, this is very dangerous, and not just dangerous for men. This is dangerous for everybody.
This is why the solution is in a more transparent workplace, in open-door policies, in ways that prevent these types of things from ever happening. It's why we have to look at how we do business. We have to make hard changes, and we have to, pull back a little bit. Some of the ideas I've had in the past have seemed a little bit like Elizabethan times or something, but you know what? We have to prevent the possibility. Instead of having some HR office that you run to after and you're cowering in there, you don't want to show your face, and you think no one will believe you. That's a problem. I totally understand what women face here. I just also I'm stricken. I'm chilled by some of the cases I'm seeing now of people being run out of their jobs, bankrupted, and absolutely no due process.
I will say again, I'll go back. Whatever the movement is, whatever the cause is, if you think it is bigger than due process, giving people an opportunity to be heard and making sure that people, I know there are some people that say, well, you know what, if some people get destroyed, if their lives get destroyed, that's a small prize.
I know men who say they won't hire women now, so that's great.
That's stupid. Yeah.
Well, what would you do? If someone could just say, Sam touched me inappropriately.
You need to have an atmosphere that's open to women coming forward.
So, Sam, what happens 20 years from now? What happens 20 years from now, Sam? Where somebody says, I worked with Sam Stein at the Huffington Post, and we were having drinks one night, and he put his hand on my leg. What happens in this environment? 20 years from now, you're fired.
Well, I'll say I work at the Daily Beast.
I know, but back when, back when you first started at the Huffington Post, that's the environment we're in.
I want to go back to my original point, which is I don't think there is, I agree that there is a really difficult problem here of due process, and it needs to be, whoever is accused, it needs to at least have their point heard and the ability to face their accusers, which is due process, the essential element of due process. I worry, and I just want to make sure, that you allow an environment where the actual victims here are still able to come forward and say, you know what, this happened. Yeah. And this is difficult. I mean, with the problem with Al, in the end, was that he had a series of incidents where he was grabbing people's butts. That doesn't say he shouldn't get due process.
Is there a picture of that?
He admitted that it likely happened. So I just want to be clear. The problem that Al faced was Al's own making. Yeah. Now, the secondary problem was what happens when those things come out into the fore. In that case, Al did deserve to have, I don't know why I keep calling him Al, Senator Franken did deserve to have due process. But let's not act like the system screwed him. He screwed himself. That's all I'm saying.
Mika, the changes...
By the way, we're at 6:30.
Many firms hesitate to hire women, hindering government efforts to increase female employment. A research team found that barriers to employing women vary by sector. Physical labor-intensive firms prefer male workers, while service sector firms find segregation impractical. Some companies view female employees as more efficient due to their work ethic. However, nearly 40% of firms struggle with or anticipate difficulties in retaining female employees, leading to higher costs and reduced institutional knowledge. Additionally, almost one-third fear increased labor inspections and scrutiny over female-specific regulations if they hire women.
I was joking with you earlier that it's like trendy to get it together when it comes to, making a safe environment for women. Right now, it seems as though there's beginning to be a movement. Why?
Well, I think there's starting to be a dialogue about it, right? And like anything, it takes a long time for that dialogue to become, something that becomes kind of normal. On About.me, when we spun out of AOL, we had 13 people that were on our team, 13 men, right? I'm not proud. That's not okay. To fast forward today, we have 11 women and, we have 14 men, right? So we have a team of 25. So we didn't make it like a mantra internally, because I think that diminishes somewhat. Then, we're only hiring whatever. But I, as a CEO and as a leader, as a founder, is something that I uniquely could impact. And I had an eye towards it in a very quiet way. We have navigated, right? And we made sure that we had great candidates, both for men and women. And then when we've had opportunity to grab like incredibly professional, seasoned, accomplished, talented women, like we've done it. Like we've created an environment where they're gonna feel comfortable, right? We don't have Nerf guns in our office, our silly startup culture. Like, Like we're not sending out all these, signals of this is a dude frat party.
Sometimes founders don't even realize it may be a place with all Nerf guns and it just feels like a dude frat party. Like, do you have women advisors? Do you you guys have conversations
Yeah, we have
with
conversations.
other founders?
You read, you pay attention to it. It's something that at my station of life, my age, like it's inexcusable to not have your ears open and to dive in and be knowledgeable, like what's happening. So we ask, one of my partners just did a great thing where he asked some of the female founders of true portfolio companies, what's that like pitching us? What are the things that we, haven't been sensitized to, because we're all guys, right? So let's okay, so let's open up and let's think about, listen, we have a long list and we are so far from where we need to be. But I'm really proud of the ability for our team to open up and listen to it and then figure out what we want to go do about it.
Some companies hesitate to hire women due to concerns about their feminist inclinations, fearing they may disrupt workplace harmony and prioritize personal agendas over collective goals. This bias leads to unequal treatment, marginalization, undervaluation of contributions, and limited advancement opportunities for women. Such attitudes undermine diversity and inclusion efforts, stifle innovation and productivity, and cause companies to miss out on valuable insights. Additionally, gender discrimination damages the company's reputation, reducing consumer trust and investor confidence.
Today is the day of my interview. I finally received a callback after putting in 100 applications in the last 2 months. Maybe I should have put in more, but I've applied for so many different roles, so many different jobs, servers, waitress, retail, Walmart. Nobody is calling me back. I don't know what's going on. It used to be so easy to find a job back 5 years ago. When I got out of college, I could get so many different job offers. So I'm gonna have to take this very low paying job in the meantime. This is not sustainable income. My interview is in 15 minutes. I'll let you guys know how it goes. It's in a career that I've done before. If they don't hire me, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the system, because I have all the qualifications. I've worked in this industry for years, and I don't know. If they don't hire me, I'm gonna freak out. If you guys know anybody who's hiring, let me know, or where I should apply to. I've applied to airlines, Amazon, you name it, I've done it. Alright, here we go.
I'm honestly so fed up with trying to get a job right now. This year alone has been impossible for me to get a job. I've been trying to get a job since January, and or not even January. I think it was December, because I technically didn't quit my job till January, but I got taken off the schedule before then because I was like done and I was over it. But it's been like 6+ months basically since that I've been trying to get a job, and this has happened to me every single time. The first job I got, hated the job, didn't want the job, my only option though, I stayed there for 6 months, hated it, literally ended up, like, only thing I liked about it is they let me work like 1 day a week when I was like literally over it. And then it was like a long gap, but to my next job, it was like, I think it was another 6 months, but I was in sports, so like it didn't really matter at that time. But when sports was over and I needed to get a new job, impossible. And then I got lucky with the last job that I just had, but that job I think should be illegal, and it literally killed me. And I stayed there for about 8 months, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm done. Like, this has ruined my sanity. And then since then, I've not been able to get a job. Like, I think I've applied to over 300 jobs in the past 6 months in this area. And the area I'm at is like off a main city, but the city is like not accessible to me. And there's like there's like 4 high schools in this one area, and each high school has like 3,000 people. So like the competitiveness is freaking crazy. And then the jobs are like, oh, we're urgently hiring. And then you go in person and they're like, we're not even hiring. We haven't been hiring for like 8 months.
The progress being made to get more women into British boardrooms, some extraordinary excuses have come to light as why men refuse to nominate them. Anna Stewart has the list. She joins me now from London. And interesting that this is public at all, but what are we finding out, Anna?
I mean, Maggie, it's really hard not to laugh when you read some of these genuine reasons that male CEOs and chairmen have given for not nominating women to the board. Let me run through some of my favourites. We have, I don't think women fit comfortably into the board environment. Then we have, most women don't want the hassle or pressure of sitting on a board. All the good women have already been snapped up. And perhaps my favourite, we have 1 woman already on the board, so we're done. It's someone else's turn. Now, the UK government has published these terrible reasons or excuses, you could call them, for not nominating women to the board to shame FTSE 350 companies into doing something, because they did set them a target. 2 years ago, they said by 2020, you need to make sure that 1/3 of all leadership roles in your businesses are held by women. And if you look at this list, frankly, we're quite far away from that.
Yeah, anybody who thinks that there's not institutionalized bias that's going to take a long time to get over only needs to look down that list to see how much work still needs to be done. Anna, thank you.
And that concludes today's discussion on MGTOW Voice. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video.